Hello, everybody. Welcome to Levack, guys. It is a football Friday, and as we used to do in the terrestrial days, thanks to our friends at they don't get mentioned yet. It's pay to play, my friends. Let's go ahead and do a Kickstarter. Enough games last night. We can get this ripping with the headlines and the notes from the preseason NFL action last night. We will start with the Battle of the Cats, the Bengals versus the Lions. Guys, the Bengals end up winning this thing 16-14. I can guarantee you one thing, and you probably know this. You probably did this at Salve High. You probably did this at Hobart. There will be fumble drills in the land of the Cats. They combined for 8 fumbles. It was the ugliest thing. I watched the All 22, the quick cut of the game when I got up this morning, and I swear the ball was on the carpet more than it was in people's hands. It felt like. Ugly game, but Joe Burrow did play. You do see kind of the attitude of the Lions is there, but 8 total fumbles in the preseason debut of the two big cats.
We running up downs, we doing push-ups. What are we doing with the ball hitting the carpet? I think those teams will figure it out. Maybe some old 100-yard sprints. Those things can be fixed, but unfortunately for the people who might be dropping the football, putting it on the turf, that might be the end. Coach Ware, Albany Firebirds, it's the easiest way to not get on the field anymore is not having the ball in your hands. So things to clean up for both teams. And Joe Burrow out there wearing number 9. And I know he made his comments, hey, they told me no one's wearing 9 at LSU. Take that, Jaden Danis. Wanted to make sure he told the press that yesterday.
Moving on to the Steelers versus the Packers, a weird kind of grudge match, even though Aaron Rodgers didn't play. The Steelers end up winning 28-9. And remember Austin Powers, the fembots? Like it was all these blonde clones, right? Or robots or whatever. Dude, are these the brobots? Like, have you seen the quarterback room for the Steelers? They are all 6'5", 225, 230. Like all 3. Drew Aller, Mason Rudolph, Will Howard. They are all if you with the helmet on, if you put a visor on the dudes, put the same number on all of them, you probably would have a tough time figuring out who's who. But between the 3 of them, they combined to go 27-33, over 300 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. I think if you're going to take anything from this, that might be one of the craziest decisions as we get closer to the 53-man rosters. Who do you keep? Do you let Mason Rudolph go and then let Aller and Howard, duel out to see who's going to be Aaron Rodgers' successor? Do you keep Aller because he's a rookie and he threw some really nice passes last night, and you let Howard go? And does Howard get picked up by somebody, one of these quarterback savants, like a Kevin O'Connell or something? That quarterback room for me is the story that comes out of last night's matchup between the Steelers and the Packers.
I want to make sure I phrase this correctly. There's a difference between impressive and best. You have expectations for somebody. I didn't think they're going to be that good. The most impressive quarterback to me last night, here's where I thought he'd be, here's what he did, was Drew Aller. Of all the games last night, he was the most impressive to me. And I'm also pretty bummed that that's my answer because I wanted the other quarterback in this game to be the correct answer. I wanted it to be Kyle McCord. I wanted the former Eagle, former Syracuse Orange player, now a Green Bay Packer, to be the most impressive. He wasn't. Aller was better. To the question you asked, if I had to make the room, it would be Rodgers, it would be Howard, and it would be Aller. And Aller and Howard could go back 2 or 3. I'm shocked Mason Rudolph is still in the league. No one loves Mason Rudolph more than our guy Boston Dan or the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. I can't even make a case as to why he should still be in the league. He will be most remembered for Myles Garrett trying to smash and smush his head with his helmet. So that would be my roster if I had to pick one.
Well, and I'm with you because let's be honest, if Aaron Rodgers goes down, you're not winning the Super Bowl. The Steelers are a AFC championship game competitive team with Aaron Rodgers. Without Aaron Rodgers, you either have to know if one of these other 2 brobots is going to be your future, or if you're just going to tank it out and find a quarterback in this year's draft. So I'm with you, but something tells me Rudolph stays because of the veteran ability, because he must be one of the best practice quarterbacks out there, because he will be on a roster this year. There's and it could just be that he looks really good in the uniform. Again, he's 6. I think he's 6'6" or 6. He's 6'5", 6'6". He's 230 pounds. No,
what's
he's
that,
not.
6'6"?
No.
Okay.
You hit your head on door frames. That's what it is. That's what it is. How dare you? Moving on. Colts versus Patriots. What a stinky, ugly, messy game. Tons of penalties, there's challenges. The Colts and the Pats, they tie 13 apiece. Anthony Richardson Sr. may be one of the best NFL athletes in the game, but he is not a football player. He is not a quarterback. He fumbles too much. He doesn't know when to throw the ball. He holds on to it. He'll make a jaw-dropping athletic play one moment and the biggest bonehead play I've ever seen the next. I think he's going to be a career backup. I think he this is almost insulting to Vince Evans, but if people remember Vince Evans was always a great backup because you bring him in the game, he would run the football. He maybe threw once out of 50 opportunities in a whole season, but he's stinky poo-poo. That's what he is.
You'll remember this because he played for your Raiders, but I look at Anthony Richardson more and more. I'm like, why can't he just be Terrell Pryor? For those who forget Terrell Pryor was the number one player in the country coming out of high school. It was between Ohio State and Penn State. He went to Ohio State, was a fantastic athlete, played well. His career ends in an odd fashion because of the tattoo scandal, and he gets to the league, and he's not a good enough quarterback, but he's 6'6" and is a good enough athlete. And I love the news story that's out there, right? They wanted to play quarterback one time. I was like, nah, I'm not getting paid to play quarterback. Somebody else got to go play quarterback. Right. I think it was, not Case Keenum. One of the guys who, Cody Kessler from USC told that story. It's gone viral. So he reminds me of Terrell Pryor, but just not as good as a quarterback as Terrell Pryor. The interception that he throws, it looks bad. However, I think a really good case can be made that's on the wide receiver. So as much as the box score is going to give us an interception, as much as the play looks like it's a bad throw by Richardson, I'm going to chalk that one up to the wide receiver. The coaches can always answer that better than we because of the play and all that stuff, but it's just not that guy. You know, he's just not him. Taysom Hill, Terrell Pryor, something else. He's too good of an athlete not to be in the league, but I'm with you. I think the quarterback position is probably not going to be a top 32 QB for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I don't think he's a top 64. If we're being pro. Now, again, if you wanted to tell me he's a top 40 athlete in the NFL, yes. But even when he runs the ball, he fumbles it. So, no, thank you. I'm good. I'll move on. And speaking of moving on, the Chargers took out the Texans 27-7. The biggest takeaways for this game for me was that Texans defense is going to be absolutely everything it was last year, maybe more. When they were out there, they were dominant. They were nasty. The other part that's fun is watching Harbaugh play with his toys. Trey Lance, DJ Uiagalelei, those two out there running the offense with the dual threat, with the legs and all that was very entertaining, very fun to watch. Uiagalelei is somebody that we've been wanting to see be great ever since his college football days. He made one of the prettiest throws that you would have seen yesterday. But I thought it was so funny because, like, when I looked at it, I was blown away by like the across the body. It was like a 9-yard dart. It was beautiful. Everything was great about it. And then I watched the highlight later, and I could hear the announcer. And the announcer was like, "Wow, I would have thrown it to like 3 different people. What a great throw!" And then I looked at it. He picked the hardest throw on the field. So he completed it, which is great. But did you do that because you wanted to impress everyone and make sure you had a spot on the roster? B, because I can? Or C, are your quarterback instincts so poor that you thought the worst throw on the field was the best throw on the field? And those are all things that Harbaugh and his crew are going to have to figure out. But all in all, you saw that Chargers tenacity that I was telling you about in the way too early picks. I do feel like the Chargers are an absolute power in the AFC, but that Texans defense is going to be filthy, absolutely filthy.
A lot of Clemson fans saw that player like, oh, yeah, I remember that now. Oregon State, oh, yeah, I remember that now. He was supposed to be the 5-star first-round pick. Plays like that have cost him in college as well. Of all the preseason games, this one was the hardest for me to find a take on. I'm glad you had a strong take there because this one's the hardest for me because I kind of have talked myself into the Chargers being very good because of those connections on offense. I was hoping to see more. You flip it over to Houston. And boy, national media outlets, I thought this was 2 years ago that the Texans were the sexy pick. So many people, as you mentioned, how incredibly good that defense is. The arguments there for the defense. So many people are now making the claim they want the Texans to be the pick out of the AFC because Baltimore's got a new head coach. Mahomes' injury status. Buffalo's got a lot of people warming up to Houston potentially being the team coming out of the AFC this season.
I don't trust their quarterback. I don't. But but again, that defense could make all the. Could they be like the 2000 Ravens? Maybe. Maybe they could be. Maybe. Well, you said you didn't take anything away from that game. Titans 19, 49ers 13. Jeff, 0 Fs given. I saw nothing in this game except for Cam Ward is not that guy. At least not yet. I mean, maybe more time. Like maybe they got enough film out of this that Dable will be able to work with him. But the Niners didn't care. And if the Titans did care, they're just not good enough. So preseason game where you get to see the starters, you can kind of make these kind of proclamations. I'm not impressed by Tennessee at all.
So you went with the Tennessee spot, not being impressed by them. I could have sworn Julius Chestnut was the character in Remember the Titans. That wasn't him. Was that Morris Chestnut? And his character was named Julius?
I think Morris Chestnut. That might be Boys in the Hood, though.
Am I confusing my people? I could have sworn there was a Julius in Remember the Titans.
I think so, but let me see.
I'm more concerned about the Niners because the Niners have so many injuries again for the
Morris Chestnut played Ricky Baker in Boys in the Hood. That's what I was thinking of. Let me
see who he did. Yeah, check Remember the Titans. I could have sworn there was a Julius in there. Maybe it wasn't Morris Chestnut.
Yeah, no, it was the defensive. It was the other. It was the
Gary Bertier. Yeah. So I always think that's the character's name, but it's not. He's a Sacred Heart running back, FCS. Look, the Niners didn't trot anybody out there because they're dealing with injuries. Pablo Torre is finally on the case, everybody, whether or not the electrical circuits and all the practice field setups. Don't worry. Pablo Torre is going to find out. The new podcast is out about whether or not that's true. The Niners barely played anybody. So, yes, that I almost had that as a storyline in that game of I want to know why the Niners are getting hurt more often. How dare you, Pablo Torre, get me to watch one of your podcasts. They're not that good.
Julius Campbell was played by David Wood Harris in Remember the Titans. That was, and he was also a drug kingpin in one of the HBO shows that's escaped me at the moment.
The Wire.
Yes. Avon Barksdale, was that his name?
Nice. Yes, it is.
It's weird the things you can't remember when you get old. I have a great old age story later if you need it. All right, the final game of the night I think was the most impressive game of the night as well. I mean, top to bottom and looking for what you're trying to find. Both sides of this game I thought were good. The Cardinals beat the Raiders 27-14. This is Mendoza's debut. He made 2 throws to Jack Besh during that scoring drive that I was enamored by. We'll go with the touchdown. He throws back shoulder and low, and Besh comes away with it and scores a touchdown. The reason that's an important throw is like when you're a quarterback in your very first NFL start, even though it's preseason, you're the number 1 pick in the draft. Everybody's trying to get highlight reels off your ass. Like you got to be dialed in if you're going to do this. When you throw that pass, the first instinct is get it to the receiver. The second instinct is get it to the receiver in a place where the defender can't get it. And the third instinct is normally get it to a place where the receiver can get it, the defender can't, and my receiver won't get hurt. And Mendoza did all those things in 2 seconds. So I was really impressed by Fernando Mendoza. And my biggest takeaway from this game, guys, and you'll love this. I'm going into hot take Tommy reign. The offensive rookie of the year was in that game last night. And I have a short list of 3 of who it'll be. It'll either be Fernando Mendoza. It'll either be Mr. Love, the running back, who was a beast last night, or the other running back, Mike Washington, for the Raiders. One of those 3 players is going to be the offensive rookie of the year in the NFL this year.
Oh, can we get Bear Felica or Harborside Hal or Sammy P? Can we get that as a prop? Levack gets 3 of those rookies in the field because I might side with you on that. I want some plus money on your side and rock with that. Let me start with Mendoza first, though. You answered it. I was going to do a question, but I think you answered it. If you're a Raider fan, that is what you want. That is exactly what you want on Mendoza. Would you love 15 for 15, 200 yards and 4 touchdowns? Of course, duh. You'd want that. But I'm a rookie. I'm going to get challenged. Things are going to be different. The game's going to move a little faster. How is my rookie going to respond to plays that he hasn't seen before in the NFL? Is he going to pout? Is he going to get frustrated? Is he mentally not going to be able to handle it? Or is he going to get his butt kicked, stand up, handle it like a man, and go out there and start slinging it again? It's game 1. It's week 1. But that stuff to me is impressive. You mentioned the throws there. That's what you want. Because look, you can mess up on a read in practice or the preseason. It's a teaching moment. You can mess up on other stuff. You'll get criticized. That's life. But when you can make plays like that and you're putting it and you're zinging it in there and you're like, oh, that's right. And one of my favorite things, it used to be the other team played well, and I'll still use that on this show, obviously. But one that's gained a little bit more traction the last couple of years that should be said more in sports conversations. Guys can get better. Nobody wants anybody ever to get better. You had one take about one guy 1 year, and that's the take you have to have forever because one time you said he sucked. Not you, Levack, but you get my point. Like, right. Hey, this person sucks, so they're going to suck forever. People can get better. Mendoza is a great example of that. He was one way at Cal. He was one way at Indiana. And there's a really good opportunity that he's going to be a little bit off to start for the Raiders whenever that day comes, and he actually gets better. If anybody, Mendoza's the best example because he went from a no-star, one-star recruit to winning a Heisman Trophy. Cam Ward the same way. Like, these guys can get better, and there were glimpses of how he's going to get better from last night, which is encouraging for Raider fans like you.
Well, that and your second-round pick wide receiver from last year, Jack Besh at a TCU, 3 catches, 3 targets, a touchdown. I think he had 20 yards. That was a guy that was irrelevant last year. I think what do you have, like 200 yards, maybe something like that. He was not part of it. He was not part of what you're trying to do. So, is it the second team rep situation? You see that a lot where your first team QB, your starter gets hurt, the backup comes in, and if the backup's a young guy who's been working with the second team offense, all of a sudden that like number 3 receiver on your depth chart like starts lighting it up because he's getting fed the football. Like that could be the fact, but if all of a sudden a suspect wide receiver core gets a huge inflation because the relationship between Mendoza and Betch, that's huge. Like that could be huge. I think nothing I saw last night leads me to believe that the Raiders will be picking in the top 5 this year. I think they will be, and if they can continue to, as you just talked about, get better and everything. And when Mendoza was asked about the game after, Kirk Cousins was asked about the game, and I do 2 things I noticed: extremely complimentary of Fernando Mendoza, and went out of his way to say man, not like call him a kid, like all the like say the like, hey, this is he's a smart man. He made a point not to like belittle him in any way, which I thought was really cool. And then when Mendoza was asked about it, he gushed over the first team offense. He's like, yeah, Kirk in that first team offense. Oh my God. Like whatever. Like he made it was very clear. Like, hey, I'm the starting quarterback in Kirk Cousins right now. And I want you to know that I think Fernando Mendoza is special. Fernando Mendoza, I know my place. I am not the starter. Kirk Cousins is taking the first team reps. He's our starter. When I get the call, it'll be me. But right now, there is no controversy in our house. You guys can talk about it all day long on Sports Center and Pat McAfee and Levack and Goz. I'm sure he's a big listener. And fine. But Kirk is 1. I'm 2 until Kubiak says otherwise.
Good leadership, good qualities, good stuff for your Raiders. Quickly back to Washington, the running back. I love him, man.
Bro.
That's the first video I sent you this morning of any NFL game from last night. If you don't know what we're talking about, there's a play that Brian Baldinger found last night, breaking it down. Baldy's breakdowns are fun. But that play Washington has, it's not that, he made a really good wrap. No, it's he found the hole, got to the hole, made one guy miss, made a second guy miss, and then Burt. That stuff is like, oh, baby. Where did we find this kid? The pride of Cicero North Syracuse High School. I know he's bounced around upstate.
There it is.
I know he bounced around upstate New York. I know he had his celebration at the turning stone when he got drafted by your Raiders. So he's awesome. Some stuff you can't teach. That's one of the plays last night. Him and Genti together. Woo.
He's a 230-pound running back that has 4.3 speed. There's going to be some thunder and lightning in that backfield this year. I think the Raiders, and this happens every year for anybody who's followed the show long enough. Every year they, are you willing to get hurt again? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I think there's going to be a point this season, and the later in the season it happens, the better it is for me. But there will be a point this season when we turn on Get Up or whichever, which is a Good Morning Football. That's probably the least crappy of the shows. And they go, are the Raiders for real? For real? You know what I mean? And they do a whole segment on what the Raiders are doing right. If that happens before week 3, no, they're not. You know what I mean? Because it will go away. It'll go away. But if that happens after like week 7, if that segment's week 9, 10 of the season, then I'm not saying the Raiders win the Super Bowl, but I'm telling you that they are way ahead of where a lot of us thought they would be in their maturation project under Clint Kubiak. If they do this Raiders team is they're for real contender, and it's week 10, bro, let's hang a banner for that one. Drop a banner from the rafters. Raiders legit through 10 weeks of the NFL season.
They aren't this team. But how you set that up does remind me of this team. It's 2 years ago's Washington Commanders. Now, that was a breakout team. But what I mean, they're not as talented.
I hope not, because I think the Commanders are poop this year.
No, 2 years ago. The one that made the postseason. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want to be good for 1 year and not, 2 years later be poop.
Okay, but the reason I bring up that comparison is that's the year Dan Quinn with his backwards hat, he's going for it on fourth downs all the time. The roster makeup for the Raiders is move the chains. You need 5 yards on a third down. You got 4. You're moving the chains. You're going for it on 4th and inches because you got 2 bulls in the backfield. They're dropping a pass off to Bauer. Move the chain. Mendoza made the right. Sometimes it's not the most exciting football. This is your Raiders say you want them to be boring. That's okay. It's nice to just have a couple boring quarterbacks who are moving the chains on 4 off the field. That's
boring off the field. Off the field. And for those of you who tweet in about Goz's math there, it's at Tom Goz, TOMGOZZ. Yeah, you need 5 yards. You get 4, you move the chains. No, the chains go. No, you punt. That probably.
Did I say 35 and I went for 4? Is that what I did? In my mind, it was a 3rd and 2, and then I'm real quick. I got time.
Those 5s and those 2s, they look alike, even in the brain. Even in the brain.
I got a real quick story. I'm going to tell about Mohawk Honda in a second, but so yesterday at flag football practice, we did a drill, and people know this. Like, you call playing football, 22 ISO, right? You run to the 2 hole if you're the 20 back, and however offense is named that. But some people don't know that. Like, hey, the play's going to the 2 hole. So yesterday was the day we taught our kids how to run that, right? So that was my drill. So I'm like, Rex, you're the 2 gap. Rory, you're the 4 gap. Ethan, you're the 6. And the kids who were on defense, like, got it. They're like, I'm protecting my gap. I'm on defense. Any kid who with the flag comes through. So I talked to the guy who's running the offensive side, like, hey, tell them to run to the 1 or the 3. I was like, how'd they do? He goes, oh, terrible. Nobody knew any of the holes. I have to remind myself math, even odd numbers, reading, concept, tying your shoes are the tougher concepts for 5 and 6-year-olds that clearly, like me, got confused there by numbers.
Well, it'll be one of those things too. Like, I remember when I was really little, my father trying to explain balls and strikes to me. Like, it's one of my like childhood formative memories, like little baby. I wasn't 4 yet, because by the time I was 4, I was so into everything that I became a Raiders fan. But I just remember not, like, the concept was so beyond me. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you can go 3 balls, 2 strikes, and still what is any of that? I have no understanding. So, like, there's gonna be a point in Rex's, like, teens, he's gonna well it's just reflex. He's gonna be like, yeah, I remember Dad yelling about the 2 gap.
So my wife, my dad today, I'm like, listen, it's gonna be run left and run right. I'm learning like the kids are learning. We're not bringing out the wishbone or the wingtip. We're going left or right. And if half the kids know which way left or right is, and they know don't rip the flag off the kid who doesn't have the ball. I'm learning as well. Just like you need 6 yards for a 3rd and 5.
Well, 5 is fine. I mean, if you get 5, you're probably there too. But 6, a little cushion for the pushing. I mean, sorry, what was that?
Before we talk about the New York teams in the weekend preseason action, let's tell you about Mohawk Honda. It's Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of their way to please you. You're looking for a new vehicle. Now's the time. I'm noticing this as well. More and more people taking those August vacations, getting those in whenever they can before the fall season gets underway. Before some people, maybe you're a teacher, get the summer off. Maybe you've saved up that time as your kids are all from school. Mohawk Honda wants to make sure you have the ride that's safe for your vacation. Don't forget, throughout the entire month of August, hygiene products across the capital region to help out those people that need in the 518. You can bring those in as well. So many wonderful people there. Greg Johnson and Lindsay Harridan, the Harridan family, celebrating all the wonderful things going on at the dealership. My guy Cam McKenna taking care of me, and I could keep running through the names, but I want to make sure you get a vehicle that you absolutely love. I love my Pilot. It's a great ride. My wife loves her Odyssey. We're bouncing around Central New York with our vehicles with 3 kids and cousins and everything else. We got a 3-year-old birthday party on Saturday. So whatever your lifestyle is and your budget is, Mohawk Honda wants to make sure they find a vehicle that fits your ride. People you can trust during the car buying experience, it's Mohawk Honda. Proud sponsors of this show, and they always go out of their way to please you.
Define proud. Just out of curiosity,
Let's not ashamed. The opposite of not ashamed. Buccaneers Jets tonight, 7:00 kick for this one. This is the first New York team in action tonight. Levack, let's start with the Jets. What do you think will stand out about the Jets? Is there something that's intriguing Jets fans should be watching tonight as they take on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
It's always funny to me, like, if you took out of context conversations, like if you took my quarterback conversations from preseason and you played them in the regular season, I would sound dumber than I really am, because I believe the greatest plus for the Jets in this game against the Buccaneers is the fact that you've got Bailey Zappi, who's got NFL experience. You've got Brady Cook. And then you got Cade Klubnik, who I know a lot of us are hoping is the quarterback of the future for this team. I don't know how much you see of Geno. I think you might see a drive out of him, kind of like what Jordan Love did for Green Bay, where it was like, you got a field goal. Was he 3 of 5? Looks like he knows what he's doing. Didn't die. All right, back to the sideline. But that quarterback depth, like Gardner Minshew cut up the Raiders for the Cardinals. Do I think that means the Cardinals are going to be a great regular season team? No, but I think if Gardner Minshew is playing against FedEx delivery guys and Amazon drivers, like, he's going to make you look sloppy. So for the Jets, I'd love to see a lot out of Cade Klubnik, and I'd like to see kind of an offensive concept. Obviously, they're not going to show us the deeper stuff, but if Cade Klubnik goes out there and kind of, looks like Fernando Mendoza, scoring drive, makes the right calls, doesn't force the ball places it shouldn't be, I'm very excited about the Jets. And then, I guess if I'm looking at what's going on with your Buccaneers, I guess I'm hoping Jake Browning's still a really good backup, because you might need him this year.
No, Baker won't be that bad. He can't be. No, please no.
Baker might quit on you.
I don't think so. I hope not. My Buccaneer storyline is who's the running back this year, because there's been talk of Sean Tucker maybe getting more carries. Who is the back this year? You've seen guys come and go out of that backfield. Who is the primary ball carrier? That should be an easier answer in the NFL. It is not that easy. We might have an idea for the Buccaneers coming up. Probably stay away if you're a fantasy football player in the Buccaneer backfield, because there's way too many uncertainties there. But for the Jets side of it, it has been an odd camp for the Jets. And I'm saying that years removed from Aaron Rodgers, where it felt like every single day we got a headline of Jets camp for the 2 years that Rodgers was there. You had Stiggers, the defensive back, go down.
What'd you say?
In practice. We had him going down in practice. There's a new Tom Cruise movie. Never mind.
What?
We have,
yes, I've seen it. What is it?
David Bailey's. Yes. David, you might win an Oscar for that. It's the rumor out there.
Have you seen the preview?
I have.
It's terrifying. I'm terrified by it.
I want to know what's going on there. So that's the guy who did The Revenant, and he did, what's the other movie? He did one in 2014. Birdman. The Spanish film director. That man's a madman.
I have not watched that movie, to be honest with you.
You have not seen Birdman?
No.
It's actually pretty wild. That guy's got a creative mind. Anyways, so David Bailey's dominated some practice. He's been good. Sadiq, the kid from Oregon, got hurt. I believe he's not going to play. It's a hernia situation's been the rumor out there. The answer is Cade Klubnik. You're dead on this, Levack. That is absolutely the answer, because think about this. I know you said Browning is a joke, but if you spread across the NFL right now and said, is there actually a quarterback that could beat out another quarterback in the preseason? It's actually a lot smaller than we think. Mendoza is an easy answer, but it's not the right answer. Simpson's not going to get on the field. The only real rookie that could pass somebody as a starter, from my perspective, is actually Cade Klubnik. Can he? Will he? Probably not. But at least if he plays really well, there will be a push of, why are we doing this again? Why are we trotting Geno Smith out here when we actually might have a quarterback who can play? We saw it happen. Second time this week, I brought up the Teddy Bridgewater game. I know he retired this month, but Jet fans have seen that happen before. So it's absolutely Cade Klubnik is the most interesting, compelling storyline of the Jet game tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it could be such a low risk, high reward situation for the Jets. If Cade Klubnik is potentially your quarterback in the next 3 to 5 years, or let's say Geno shoot the moon. Geno's your starter all year, plays well, because again, I don't think you can judge Geno Smith. There's like clearly a fire. Can you hear it?
I can. It's odd because it's usually the radio station. It's weirder hearing it in your house now.
I live like where I am. Like if sirens are going down the hill, it's a normal day. If sirens go up the hill, get your ass together because God only knows what's happening. But if somehow Geno gives you a year, maybe 2, and Cade Klubnik can be developed. And when I say Geno give you a year or 2, that's implying that Geno and his team play well enough that your coaching staff stays pretty much intact. You could be onto something. Like you could legitimately be onto something. And it's not lost on me that your first chance to prove you're headed in the right direction is against Todd Bowles. Like the guy who probably is the last time you really were kind of headed in the right direction, even though it wasn't exciting when it was here. But like it's an interesting game tonight for sure as your Buccaneers take on the New York Jets.
I'm gonna jump and go first on the Panther Bills one because Levack knows this because how we're taping and how we're creating content for the weekend. You, my friend, along with Matt Verderem, will be a part of the Score 1260's Bills game day broadcast on Saturday morning, 9 to 11. Matt had our conversation before you and I connected, and I asked Matt this question, and I'm stealing his answer because he was at camp this week. I said, what are some things that are standing out to you about the Bills? And he said, the defense is swinging in a lot of guys. So a ton of players are getting reps on defense. Josh Allen is expected to play tonight. Probably coming in off the field, wave to the fans. Hello, here I am. About it. See you later. Get into a baseball game. So I didn't think it was going to be the defense, but I got a little birdie that told me Verderem said it's who's going to play on defense. How deep is the defense? Joe Brady's always talked about offense. Jim Leonard, now the defensive coordinator for the Bills, man, so many people thought he was going to be a head coach. Remember him as a player? Not a lot of Jim Leonard's left out. My dad was a big Jim Leonard fan. He still is, especially when it's with us. Why that's come off like he was dead. Jim Leonard's the DC. My dad's fine. Jim Leonard's the DC. So that's what I'm interested in tonight for Bills Panthers. Excuse me, tomorrow at 1:00. I'm interested in Bills Panthers. Is how many guys are actually going to be on that defense? It's a challenging broadcast. A lot of players swinging in and out. Defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker. Levack, is defense for you or something else jumping out to you?
Well, I mean, I'll give you a summarized version of what I'm going to tell you on your pregame show on was it tomorrow? The defense is the story. Like Jim Leonard, he was defensive backs. He wasn't the defensive coordinator in Denver, but that Denver defense while he was there was special. He was a special player. So this is his opportunity to prove that he's a defensive mind. This is the polar opposite of what I've seen from the Bills under McDermott. And you can say what you want about Brandon Beane, and I know a lot of people don't like Brandon Beane right now, but when he had a defensive-minded head coach, he got him the pieces he needed and wanted. And McDermott's defense was always in the game. Now he has an offensive-minded head coach. He addresses the wide receiver room. He adds, he bolsters the depth of the offensive line. He does, like, he got the things that Brady needed as the head coach. And now Leonard is going to have to build his defense. And I think you're going to, like, if you look at when Denver's defense under Peyton really started to take off, you knew a couple of the guys, but you were introduced to most of those guys. They were found to fit in the system, and they flourished under the system. And now it's an argument between Houston and Denver who has the best defense, at least in the AFC. So I think, it's going to be about the defense, but the fact that Josh Allen will be on the field at all, and I just want to see one completion to DJ Moore. That's all I want. I just want to see that chemistry start, and then I'm good for the offense. I have zero questions about the offense. I think James Cook will be better this year than he was last year. I know a lot of people expect regression. I don't, because there's no contract argument. I think Josh Allen will be Josh Allen, and I think DJ Moore has a full resurgence in Buffalo. I'm sorry, Orchard Park. So I think I think the offense is pretty much set. I think the defense, because maybe later in the season you'll see a little more of the preseason. You'll see a little more of the concepts from Brady really coming into the offense. Now that he has no one over him, he can just do whatever he wants. But this is going to be about the defense tonight, Saturday. What day is it? When are you listening to this? It's up to you. You decide what day it is.
Are you mowing your lawn right now? Yes, coming up.
Yeah.
1 o'clock.
Is it Wednesday? Man, I was so right, wasn't I, about all the things that happened the other day?
1 o'clock also on Saturday is the Giants and the Vikings. And for the second time in this conversation, I'm not letting you go first, although I should be.
What the hell?
No, I
you
know.
Don't get to decide? I do what I want.
The thing that I'm most intrigued about for Giants Vikings on Saturday afternoon, and this is the best battle for a position. Maybe an argument can be made to see best battle for any position in any NFL training camp, and that's the wide receivers for the Giants. For those who may have forgotten what the wide receiver room looks like for the Giants, let me start firing off names here. Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Calvin Austin III, Juju Smith-Schuster, Malachi Fields, Darnell Mooney, Odell Beckham Jr., Isaiah Hodgkins, Braxton Berrios, Xavier Gibson, Dalen Cambry, and Jalen Hyatt. I just gave you 12 wide receivers. And there's a really good chance, as the kids like to say, if you're a ball knower, you might know all 12. That is a hard thing to do in fantasy football and college. To know all 12 wide receivers on a team that you're familiar with, it's possible. You ain't keeping 12. You're not keeping 10. Probably aren't keeping 8. Who's making this roster? This stuff is huge to figure out who Jackson Dart's throwing to this season. That's what I'm intrigued by. Who's catching balls on Saturday afternoon for Big Blue?
I think it's almost an embarrassment of riches, especially if what we're being led to believe that Malik Neighbors will be just about 100% in the first couple of weeks of the season, like maybe misses a game or two or just plays limited roles. But if Malik Neighbors is out there, he was dominantly number one when he was on the field, and it was not close. He makes all the catches. Jackson Dart was a top, at least fantasy quarterback with what I think he only had like 3 passes to Malik Neighbors before he got hurt. It was some ridiculously low number. So I think the Giants, my only issue with the Giants this year is they've become the team that the air quotes smart people are picking to upset everybody and be the team that comes in and does big things. Harbaugh's a great addition. Jackson Dart another year in the league. The defense, I mean, if just the defensive front plays the way they're supposed to, dear God, like who wants to line up under center across from those guys? Not it. I'm good, thanks. So I think the Giants are talent top heavy. I think it's Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, Brian Burns, Abdul Carr. Like I think they've got it. But when you start going, like they were one of the teams in the Terry and Arnold sweepstakes. They were one of the teams that's looking at other people still and fudging around with their roster. I think there's some holes, and I don't think there's a lot of depth. Like this is not a full Harbaugh team yet. Like this is a Harbaugh team on the top, but there's Harbaugh's always been able to go, oh, we lost an offensive lineman. Well, here's another 325-pound beast. We'll just throw in the spot, and he'll get his feet right by game 2. Like it's gonna be very interesting to me to see where the depth comes from. And then, as you mentioned, that wide receiver core. I think Gibson is safe because he'll be your special teams guy. He'll be a receiver. But Malik Neighbors, I think Darnell Mooney, there's talent. There's a lot of talent there. Juju Smith-Schuster and OBJ, do they make it or do they not? I think we'll start seeing the signs of that as early as tonight.
A lot of good storylines, a lot of good things to follow.
Whatever day it is.
Involving tomorrow. That's right. When you have one team playing on Friday, one team playing on Saturday, another team playing on Sunday. We just got off a Thursday. People listen when they want. All good
just got off your mom.
I want to bring.
Oh, sorry.
I want to bring back.
Sorry.
A classic. I want to bring back a classic audience. I know. The worst part was there was a little bit of a lag there in between the jokes, so it sat a little longer than I wanted.
I thought I really ticked you off.
Levack, for those who have never heard your show, no, that was That was a computer lag there. Hopefully the podcast audience enjoyed that little brief. For those who have never heard the Ohtani Michael Jackson comparison, we have to bring it back because something's happening that made me think about this for the whole day. For those who have not heard it, please bring back one of your classic takes why Shohei Ohtani is the Michael Jackson of professional sports.
He is one of the most talented, weirdest humans we've ever met in our lives. Like he is going to be that guy that we will make movies about 10, 15, 20 years after he's done playing, because I don't know if he's AI generated. I don't know if he's 3D printed. I don't know if he's a plant from the aliens. I don't know if he's just a freaking weirdo, but there is so much about that dude that we don't know yet. Oh yeah, no, my interpreter had access to all my money. Doesn't everyone do that? No one does that, bro. Your accountant, your business manager, your mom, maybe your wife, if you're not that smart, they get access to your money, not the dude who's answering your questions to Fox 5 after a game. He doesn't get access. Pretending your dog doesn't have a name, hiding your wife. He's like Aaron Rodgers looks at Shohei Ohtani and goes, that guy's weird. Like that's how freaking weird he is. And many times we've talked to people and we've done radio hits over in like, bigger markets and stuff like that. When I filled in on Westwood 1 and I said he's the Michael Jackson of baseball, and they're like, no, you mean Michael Jordan? I go, no, I do not. I mean Michael Jackson. like the gambling part, if you want to say he's the Michael Jordan, sure. Okay, great. But he is just flipping weird.
And I think the weirdness is added up more and more. The bringing up the childhood, the how do you talk to people? How do you work with other human beings on planet Earth? Oh, I was brought up like this. Well, 99.9% of people don't have that background. In similar fashion to Michael Jackson, they aren't pop child stars and worldwide stars and have people doing everything for them and having this guarded community. All of that. You mentioned the gambling thing. I think if most people have listened to that podcast or had an opportunity to, I don't think most people will step away and be like, wow, poor Ohtani. How could he have been so fooled by his friend? I think some common sense will take over. I bring up Ohtani for this reason. Why, how, who did this story get out there involving Ohtani and the Dodgers today? And what I'm talking about is, according to reports, Shohei Ohtani's contract contains a, quote, key man clause that would allow the superstar to opt out from his contract in the event that Mark Walter sells his stake in the Dodgers. That's a source with the knowledge of Ohtani. For those that don't remember Mark Walter was the guy who just sold the Lakers to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger for $12.5 billion. And people are like, wait, why? What? Why is he doing that again? More reports have come out that Walter may be under federal investigation for tax fraud by his other companies. And they believe that selling off his assets is going to help him figure out these things. But he swears he's not going to sell the Dodgers. So Ohtani can leave the Dodgers. Okay. Levack, I don't care about the Ohtani leaving the Dodgers thing. I care more about why is that a story? Like, who knew that? Why is that coming out? Why would someone say like Ohtani can leave because the owner can leave? So now this goes to the bizarro world that's Ohtani to me. Never, ever in my life as a sports fan have I ever heard of a contract that a player can leave the team if the owner leaves. And it getting reported. Who wanted that info out? I don't know what to say about this Ohtani thing. What are your thoughts on this thing?
Well, how many $700 million contracts have you heard of?
Not many.
I think this comes down to, like, realistically speaking, one of my biggest problems with Major League Baseball, I think, is being showcased and highlighted right here. And I think it's a very smart clause. If we're being perfectly honest with you, I think it's a brilliant clause because, just like where I say, you should get one transfer portal when you're in college, but like, if a coach leaves, you should be able to leave, stuff like that. When you make this size of a contract, and remember, it's not really a 10-year deal. It's like a 30-year deal or something when you get done with the deferred money. You want to know who you're dealing with. Like what this deferred money, oh my God. I hope and I pray. Because why in the world would anyone ever opt out of a $700 million deal? Like why? Like that's not generational money. That's generational money. Like that's the kind of cash that changes everything. If you bank most of that money, you can become a majority owner of a Major League Baseball team. Because you have to have it's probably a little more now, but you used to have over 300 million or something. You have to have a certain percentage of your personal net worth to be the majority owner. That's why Jeter couldn't be a majority owner. That's why A-Rod had to find people, because they were only worth like 250 million or something, only. If I would love, and I don't wish this on Ohtani, but I wish this on baseball. I would love for this dude to sell the team. I would love for Ohtani not to opt out. And I would love for the new owner to be like, here's the loophole on why I'm not paying the deferred money, and win.
Thank you. Yes. Okay.
That's what it's all about. It's that deferred money. It's 100% why that deal's in there.
Oh my gosh. I thought I was too stupid for this. And I was doing some real-time research. I'm like, there's no way it's this simple that people can't figure this out, where it's like, what's the number? 400, 500, a billion, whatever the number is now for deferred money with,
1.1.
Inflation. Okay, 1.1. Thank you. Okay, so you're telling me that whoever buys the Dodgers, if they ever get sold, shows up to this thing and says, hey, by the way, not only do you have to pay $7 billion for the Dodgers, you also got to take on this $1 billion debt that all the other people set up for you down the line, and you got to pay that debt.
Not today, though.
Not today. At some point, you're going to have to pay all these guys $1 billion. If you are the current owners of the Dodgers, it's an all-time, I don't think it's an all-time sports move. It's an all-time business move of, I spent all this money. I spent it all. I got the championships. I got the glory. And then I left them with a huge amount of debt, and I wasn't charged with a crime. Usually, if you give a company that deep in debt, you might be going to jail. You might be like, oh, sorry, it sucks, man. You got to pay that bill. Bye-bye. See you later. That's like robbery. It's highway. So it actually is that simple. That's what the real-time research told me, that, yes, whoever would buy the Dodgers would have to take on the deferred money payment.
Well, and it's one,
they have to pay up.
Yeah. But it's one thing if, like let's say you sold your house and I buy it from you for $300,000. It's okay, $300,000, that's the house. Oh, by the way, I deferred my mortgage payments for 10 years. So you also now have to pay 10 years of deferred mortgage for years that you didn't own the team. You didn't own the house. Like that's what it feels like. But again, it's all part of the deal when you make the sale. But I mean, I hope this is one of the things that when they do the CBA, they look at this contract, they look at this little footnote, and they go, here's another reason you can't defer that kind of money. Now, I know somebody's probably listening going, the Mets have changed hands twice. Is it? I think it's twice since Bobby Bonilla's deferred. It might be 3 times. And he continues to get Bobby Bonilla Day. So like there's some form of protection in there that keeps you from losing that money. But oh God, I hope this is what does it. If this is what does it, I will become an Ohtani fan. If this is what ends deferred money in Major League Baseball, I'll root for that weirdo. I will.
He's not opting out. Back to your point a few minutes ago, he's not on. There's no way you're going to say $750 million wasn't. Nope. Not happening. No.
Nope. No, sir. No, sir. No way.
We move on to 2 more stories. We're going to be an extra bonus story today. How about Mike Vrabel, officially 51 years old? He's the head coach of the New England Patriots. He led this team to the Super Bowl this most recent NFL season. He celebrates his birthday, and some people are pointing out the celebration of how it all happened. Did I see Bon Jovi out there for the celebration and everything else? That's pretty exciting.
How big of a star do you have to be before you say no to putting on a mascot outfit, even for a friend? Like that's like, so like Robert Kraft comes in, calls all the rookies to the front of the meeting room. They sing happy birthday to Mike Vrabel. And then Kraft turns to Pat Patriot and says, go ahead, take off the head. And I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, please be Diana Rossini. Please be, if this could just be Diana Rossini or Vrabel's wife, anybody that will make like Vrabel's probably like there's a part of his like sphincter that just it could have crushed a diamond, going like, oh man, did Kraft just is this what's happening? What is that? But no, it's John Bon freaking Jovi. It's John Bon Jovi, and like, dude, you have platinum records. I think he has a great. I don't know. He's got millions and millions of dollars. You almost bought the Bills. And you're running around and Pat the Patriot for Mike Vrabel? Are there canoodling pictures of John Bon Jovi and Mike Vrabel out there? Or Kraft but did John Bon Jovi go to Orchids of Asia? Like what do they have over that man that he was willing to dress as a mascot for somebody's birthday? Not even sing him happy birthday. Not do the thing you're known for. Something's going on. And John Bon Jovi and Kraft, like, he's been a Patriots fan forever. Wasn't he a Bills fan? Didn't he try to buy the Bills? Did he try? Wasn't he a Bills fan? Very confused by all this.
What about the Philadelphia Soul? Is it Philadelphia Soul in there too, right? Yeah, another one of his
big
teams.
Part of the AFL. Big part of the AFL. Yep.
Bon Jovi.
One of the biggest commercials in the history of arena football was him and Elway in a commercial for the league. Yeah, but now he's past the freaking Patriot.
And somebody who's gone to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame within the last 13 months, it is actually a tier system. So the higher levels you go, according to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the better artists, the more popular artists. At the top tier, the space spot is Bon Jovi. I don't know how he pulled that off.
He's the highest tier?
He's the highest level. The highest level, unless they changed it from 2025. The highest tier of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is just the Bon Jovi level. And they're just playing Bon Jovi songs. So that's where he ranked. The internet fooled me today. They got me. I'll give more credit to, because what's happening with this Vrabel birthday celebration is people are still using Rossini to do that. I know you joked around that like Rossini was going to pop out of the thing, but what's happening is they're saying Patriots on Vrabel's birthday get mocked for viral clip in Rossini, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Wait, I thought we did the birthday thing. Is she in it? Did she see that? So what people are reporting is that there's a moment in the Patriot game last night where the Patriots said like Vrabel yeeted the challenge flag because he just like launches it, yeets, right? And all the comments are like yeeted his marriage. Yeeted his affair. So someone's like, look how the people responded in the viral clip. It's like, no.
You know the one I saw that actually made me chuckle, and I feel guilty about it. Vrabel threw that challenge flag like he threw Rossini's panties out of his truck. I'm not proud of myself for laughing at it. I didn't write it.
That's pretty good. That's really good. So I was confused by those. Also to the craft thing. Can we all act like let's all put ourselves in there? So imagine whatever you do for a living, your work, your boss's birthday's that day. And I don't know what your work environment's like. Maybe you want to celebrate your boss. Maybe you have a good relationship. Maybe you don't. Okay, it's your boss's birthday. Some people are anti-birthdays. Levack and I are like, have a celebration, get it once a year, have your day, like, right?
Any excuse for a good time.
But then like your boss's boss is telling you have to celebrate your boss's birthday with. I just would feel a little awkward if I was a Patriot. Especially a kid trying to fight for a roster spot. I'd be like, what's happening right now?
So am I understanding this correctly? You haven't seen the video of the unveiling of
I have.
Jovi?
I have.
You have?
Where the thing comes off,
when they cut to the team, I'd say 6% of those players know who the hell that guy is.
Right.
They all look at like if that was Drake or somebody like that. Like I'm trying to think of who was it? Meek Mill?
Kendrick Lamar, Meek Mill, right?
Yeah, like I think Kraft's friends with Meek Mill. If that was Meek Mill, that room would have went crazy. But like they literally like, what's the internet sound they do? Like they you could hear it, and like they cut to the players, and there's all these like these big black dudes going like, oh great, who the hell is that? And then like the offensive linemen are looking at them like, don't look at me, I'm a Morgan Wallen fan. Like it was hysterical. They had no concept of who he was, and here he is like this great unveiling, and it's for Vrabel. But I know Kraft is gonna be like, wait till the kids see this guy. Like they don't care, Grandpa. They don't care. Go eat your tapioca and mandarin orange slices.
I never watched The Masked Singer, but I understand the concept of the show. It felt like that scene where they had to quickly edit. Oh my gosh, it's so and so! I can't believe it. What?
The reel is everybody's head tilts to the side like a dog hearing a high pitched noise, and then you see the cut. Like, oh my god! I can't believe it was the third munchkin from the right in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Like,
can't believe it. Now you used to watch The Masked Singer. You were pretty good at it. Let's get your review on Spider-Man. You saw Brand New Day.
Yeah. So, true confession, I watched the Raiders when I got home because my daughter hit me up and went, "Hey, do you want to go see Spider-Man at 8:00?" And I was like, "Well, the Raiders are on at 8." And I was like, "You know what? I'm going to hang out with my kid. That's It's way better. It's way more important than a preseason football game. I can watch it whenever. It was sick. It might be the most influential MCU movie since like Iron Man or Captain America or the first Avengers. Because, bro, it sets up so many things. It's just good. It's just all around good. Bernthal as the Punisher's in it. He's great. Holland as Spider-Man is phenomenal. Ruffalo as the Hulk. He's in it. Like they did a lot of really, really good things, but they set the table for Doomsday, the new Avengers movie that's coming out on the 18th. I'm sorry, Doomsday, because Dune comes out the same day. They set the table for Doomsday. They set the table for the Mutant Saga, the X-Men. They set the table for that because I'm not going to tell you because there's a lot of speculation there. If you haven't seen it yet, it's kind of fun when they unveil why I'm saying that. But there's also a chance. There's one of the. I'm going to full nerd on you right now. One of the best storylines is Planet Hulk and World War Hulk. And they kind of did a cheesy version of Planet Hulk in Thor Ragnarok when Thor goes and fights Hulk in the arena and like that, all that stuff. But like World War Hulk is one of the craziest storylines because Hulk has finally just freaking had it with the Avengers and the Illuminati and all these groups trying to tell him how to be and what to do and how many times they take preemptive strikes against him. And he brings an army to Earth to take over Earth. Like, so, and they kind of, I can see where they might be setting that up. So the X-Men saga, the World War Hulk, like all that stuff, all in one. It's long, but it goes quick. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes, but that thing is over in no time. Don't stay for the post-credit scene. That sucked. But it does set up Doomsday. But it sucked. The post-credit scene was not worth sitting through the credits for.
Overall, solid movie. See, this is what the movies have to be in 2026. Yeah. Get the internet talking, get social media talking, get people excited for the future, get people reasons to go to the theaters and feel like you had a little FOMO, fear of missing out, right? Like all those connections and everything else. I feel like I've asked this before, but just for a refresher, in the original plot here of the Marvel movies, there was like, oh gosh, how to describe this? Like session one was like 8 movies. Phases. Thank you. Phases. Right, and we're on to a new phase. Right? This is phase 3 or something.
I think it's going to be a reboot. I think that's
hopeful restart. Okay,
yeah. So like when you in the comics, what they would do is when everything, because what a lot of people don't realize is there's so many different people writing the comics. So like you'll get like Jim Lee is one of the guys who wrote X-Men Forever. Everybody loved that dude, and then somebody else came in and started writing it different, and then all of a sudden it gets to a point where whoever's in charge goes, okay, we're off the rails. So they come up with what they in the comic world they're called like Nexus events. They're events that can't be changed. And if Doomsday is what we think it is, it's going to be Secret Wars in Battle World. So basically what they do is they take all these storylines and these universes that they like and they don't like, and there's 16 different people playing Professor X, and there's this, and there's 3 different Spider-Man and whatever, and they just put them all in a pot and they do something that goes boom, okay, that's all wrong now. That's all changed. There's one storyline moving forward, and this is what it is. So that's kind of what Doomsday is going to be. And I think that like people are like, why is Steve Rogers back? And notice I didn't say Captain America because I don't think he's going to be Captain America. I think he's going to be Nomad. Like why is this guy back? Why is that guy back? Why are they doing what they're doing? And it's because they're going to put everything back on path. Because a lot of people feel like the MCU, the Marvel movies, they were so good, and then they started getting real confusing and going too many different ways. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to use this to get back on path, and then if they do it right, we'll be right back to where we love every one of these freaking movies. Because this Brand New Day was great, and the other funny thing about Brand New Day, full nerd, the reason we got the Avengers is Marvel was so broke, they sold their biggest heroes, Fantastic Four, Hulk, Spider-Man, X-Men, they sold them to like Sony and Fox. So like the guys that all went to Sony, Hulk, Spider-Man, X-Men, they were all in this, like basically they were all rebooted in this movie. So they're kind of putting it all, I think they're going to put it right is what I think is going to happen. And it's going to get real entertaining real fast. And get ready to really hate whoever ends up playing the Beyonder because he sucks.
The Beyonder. Ooh. Yeah. I've actually never heard of that character before in my entire life.
They haven't done anything with him. Like if you're not a nerd like me, you don't know who the Beyonder is. but you're about. I feel like you're about to find out because again, I think if I'm right about what's happening, Doom is going to try and save certain worlds by destroying other worlds. And when he does this, he's going to get the attention of the Beyonder, and that's going to spark Secret Wars. Yeah, what's up? What's up? You wonder why I don't get to see women naked unless it's online. Right there. Now you know. Now you know.
I'm here for it. There's part of me for the Chat GPT AI image. I wanted to just type in all the characters you just said and make them all a part of this and see how much I can get away with on YouTube. That my mind would turn to mush.
If you put in the Beyonder, he'll show up. He's usually a dude with black hair and a white suit with like a weird glint in his eye. He's like a god level thing in the Marvel universe.
Right. I'll see. I'll try. I can't promise it's going to be on the.
I would just do Doctor Doom. I would do Spider-Man because it's all about Spider-Man. Right. And Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man. I love Andrew Garfield, but Tom Holland's the best Spider-Man. He's
Toby.
It was never my guy. I was never into Toby. That whole it was good for what it was. It was good for what it was, but like that whole Topher Grace as there was a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes were made in the casting of that. But I like Andrew Garfield is completely underrated. He did a great job as Spider-Man. I kind of hope he shows up again.
There's something about when Spider-Man, the original one, I'm talking like 2002, 2003, opened up, and now more stories have come out about like how they casted the movie. And I'm sure Tobey Maguire's heard it. Who had this quote? They're like, listen, when we were casting Spider-Man, we wanted to make sure the person wasn't too athletic, too good looking, believable. But, we landed on Tobey Maguire because he wasn't as good looking. Hey, whoa. And then after that, we transitioned to better looking Spider-Man. Like, I can hear you guys. Like,
Right. Don't. I know I got the job and I'm super famous and rich and everything partially because of it. But your words hurt. Their words are not okay. I'm not happy about this.
We don't need all the reasons why I got hired. I thought I did a fine job and made you guys a lot of money. Gosh.
Yeah, and you know me in spoilers. I did everything I could not to give you actual spoilers during that. But there's it's like I said, it's if you're into these movies at all, totally worth watching. And it's good when it was 2.5 hours, 2 hours 20 minutes, I think is how long it is. And I didn't even notice. My phone was ringing because my friend Selena is in Vegas, and I had it on sleep. And she's just like, "What are you doing?" I'm trying to buy you a souvenir. What are you doing? I'm like, and I didn't even see it until after the movie was over because it just flies. It flies by. Very, very good. And John Bernthal is the Punisher. Like we need more Punisher and Spider-Man. That's the only thing they may have done wrong. They may have ruined the future Punisher projects because they make him so likable in this that it's hard to believe that he's the dark like killer that he is in the show. And when he is with Daredevil, like they may have made the Punisher too likable in this movie. It was good. It was definitely worth watching. Might be a little too violent for the little ones, but not too far. You could probably explain it away based on what you probably already watch on TV.
All right, that's the show. That's it. You and I are going to be on the Score 1260 Saturday morning, 9:15. You can listen
That's very early. That's very early.
You can listen on the Score 1260 app. If you want to hear us back on radio, next week is a full week of shows, and then the following week you hit vacation, Levack.
Yes.
So
I'll be short timing next week. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest with everybody. Like just to show you, I've already charged my Magic Band. My grumpy Magic Band is ready to go. I am partially in Disney already. Like I want to. It might be dead. No, I gotta recharge it. I can't turn it on. I didn't charge it today. It charges like you got to charge it daily, but this thing does everything. It interacts with stuff. It pays for things. I love it. It's fun. I can't wait. Can't wait. Sorry. Go on. What were you saying?
I'll hit the button.
Thank you.